want to try and take this time with you to just set myself up a little bit more for success, specifically in meals. It is very hard to stay healthy and eat whole foods when you work a full-time job in person, but I am such a strong believer in not restricting and not feeling like you have to give up variety and eat the same thing every day just to stay on track with your goals. So hopefully throughout this video I'm able to give you some fun inspiration for meals, some recipes, and some tips, as I am someone who used to be an avid calorie and macro tracker, eat the same kind of meals every single day, and it's something I've really stepped away from, so I kind of just want to give you a little bit of that background while we kind of chat and cook together, and while I show you what I'm going to make for the week. So first off, what I'm making is a little chia seed pudding. We often have this for breakfast, but we don't just have it on its own. I'm pouring in half a cup of chia seeds and about a cup of liquid. I'm actually just going to do a little less than this because I want to put some coconut milk in as well. Seeds, just make sure you put double the amount of liquid. I'm also going to add a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it and a little bit of vanilla extract. Some coconut milk, and here's some vanilla. So I'm basically just going to tap my lid on here and throw it in the fridge. Just chopped up the mangoes, so I'm just going to throw this in one little container so that when the chia pudding is thick, then we can top it with our coconut yogurt and fruit. Chia pudding is in the fridge, and next we are gonna whip up a really quick granola. If you're looking for my ride or die recipe, that is actually on my Instagram highlights. But as you saw, I made my own almond milk. And when you make almond milk, you have like an almond pulp is what they call it. And I really hate to waste it. I have used it before almost like as a cold oatmeal base where I'll put other stuff in it and like eat it for breakfast, but I just haven't been in the mood for that. And I saw you can make a granola, and I am almost out of my granola that I have in my pantry now. So I was like, okay, let's make this as part of our little prep for the week, because I do have yogurt parfaits almost every day. So I just have the pulp in there, some oats, I have some flax seeds and hemp hearts, which are really high in protein, and I have some pumpkin seeds and almonds. I have my laptop up here because I'm pulling the recipe off of Almond Cow, which is where I got the recipe from. It also calls for some cinnamon, and I love cinnamon, so I'm gonna put, I don't even know how much it says, a teaspoon. I'm gonna put a little more than that. And then you always have to add salt to balance out as well. So once I mix this, then I'll add in the wet ingredients. I just like to cook. But while we're finishing up this granola, I already have the oven set to 350. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on where I used to be in terms of meal prep and how I got to where I am right now. But basically around 2019-ish, I kind of got into like this hardcore bodybuilding, powerlifting phase. I was a trainer at a gym. The gym was my entire life. Like, I felt like I was the definition of a gym rat, which was all great and dandy. But when it came to food, I feel like I really drew from what the people at the gym were doing. I was trying to learn from them. I wanted to be super in shape like them, so I really looked up to what they were doing. And there was nothing wrong with what they were doing. It was just different from what I was doing before, but it was tracking every single thing I ate. But I started going on MyFitnessPal. I started really tracking my protein and carbs and all of that intake. And in some regard, I actually think it was really helpful because it gave me a lot of self-awareness of what I was eating and putting into my body, what even are macros, how is protein helpful to muscle growth and to your body, and how is muscle good for fat burn and metabolism and physique. So there was a lot of really good things that I think I did learn from macro tracking to start with. But as time went on, I got very easily fixated, as one naturally does. So it's something that I ended up feeling like I couldn't go out to eat, I couldn't have fun treats. I was putting in stuff at the dinner table with my family, which I didn't see anything wrong with at the time, but looking back in hindsight, I felt like fitness started to be something that was not adding to my life anymore. It felt like it was taking away, especially in the nutrition aspect at this time of my life. Also, another tip, by the way, when you're meal, ingredient, prepping, planning, whatever, clean up as you go. It's gonna make things so much less overwhelming. You're gonna get so much more done without it feeling like this big, daunting task. So I'm just like spreading this evenly on the pan, and then I'm gonna throw it in the oven for half an hour. This is what it's looking like. The liquids, by the way, I added was maple syrup, some coconut oil. That might have been it, to be honest, for the liquids. So really good, really simple. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see. Hopefully it's good. So before I get back to my story, yes, I did just make this exact recipe in my last vlog, but it's so simple, and my mom is coming in for the whole week, and I'm just trying to have things that are so easy because it's so many meals to cook for. So yes, I'm making this again, and no, I'm not doing exact measurements because nobody has time for that. It has failed me in the past, but this recipe is almost foolproof, so I'm not really worried about it. I just did 2 big cans of chicken in water and just drained it, and now I'm gonna put avocado in there. But back to the tracking, long story short, it just became something that was really unhealthy for me, and it affected my personal life to the point where I felt like I was thinking about it all the time, nonstop. And it wasn't till that I left the gym and got a different kind of job that I really started learning about different ways to approach fitness and health. Really learning more about balanced approaches and how to make things into a sustainable lifestyle and things like that. And it's just something that hadn't really crossed my mind before because it didn't have to. I was 22, training was like my job. COVID had hit, there wasn't much else responsibility I had, to be honest, except for myself and training other people. So I feel like at that time in my life, I had the time to only worry about my macros and my nutrition. But on top of that, I lost my way in knowing what I love, what real health in food is, and colors and variety, and felt like it was normal because of my environment to just eat the same thing every day, regardless if I thought it was good or not, regardless if I got any enjoyment out of it or not. By the way, these are wild vine pickled red onions with jalapenos. They're really good. I've added it in a bunch of recipes. And I learned last time that you need to add some Greek yogurt plain and lemon to give it like a really good punch of acidity. And if you use citrus a lot, this will be the best purchase that you make. Just saying. And then adding some salt, pepper, and dill, measuring with my heart here. I go heavy on the dill. So fast forward, I learned more about balanced health and fitness. I've kind of stopped counting at this point just because I felt like I needed something different. I felt like I didn't have the same time available to me, but I still kept pretty good knowledge of what I felt good in, what I felt good at eating, what I felt a good amount eating, and learning a little bit more about whole foods. Just to give you an example of what I would eat like in the past, my go-to was always ground turkey, like plain with some salt and pepper, and then rice and peas. Granted, it is a good meal. I do like to still eat it sometimes, but not 3 meals a day. Like, why was I eating like I was training for some bodybuilding competition when it was just a regular girl living a regular life? I don't know. Mind you, I was also living at home in the time, so taking up that much room in your parents' fridge, it was kind of a no-no. I was literally taking up half the fridge with all of these like meal prep containers. It got a bit ridiculous. By the way, I just tasted this. It's so good. You literally can't mess it up, and I barely measured anything. I forgot to tell you, I also added some diced pickles in there, but if you go back to my other video, I kind of talk you through exactly how much to put in there, but again, you really can't go wrong. This one is a lunch meal prep, so I am gonna portion this out because once again, my mom is here, so this is, even though I'm prepping 3 out, it's only for 1 day. So one's gonna be for Tim, one's gonna be for me, and one's gonna be for mom, because the other days we'll have dinner leftovers or I bought some sandwich stuff. So just trying to keep it simple. That's enough for everybody. And what I did last time is I took a little piece of plastic wrap, put it inside the jar so that the chicken salad is not seeping through, and then layered it on top with crackers so I don't need to do another container. I'm putting like 12 crackers in Tim's because he needs a little more, so I'm gonna put a little label on that so that he knows this one's it. Just flipped the granola. Now we have our meal prep for one of our lunches. Got a little piece of tape here for Tim. For the next recipe, I'm gonna tell you how I got to where I am now with my meal ingredient prepping or planning. By the way, guys, it has not even been a full hour yet, and we're on like recipe number 4, so we're kind of crushing it. So how did I get to be here? More balanced, easier prep. Honestly, it was experimenting and trial and error. If you look back at my old recipes, you'll see that I slowly started adding recipes like a couple years ago, and it is really just from looking at other people's pages, what are other easy recipes people are doing, going on Pinterest, experimenting on my own, just to start having some fun with food again and getting variety in. I still made it a point to prioritize protein and whole foods, but was trying to go to it from a different approach, from fun and variety. And that is really how it started making a difference for me in my everyday life. Also, because we're already using the oven and it's almost done, I'm going to the last baking of the day, which are these banana oatmeal muffins. They're a really good little prep for breakfast, because once you make it once, you don't have to cook them. You can warm them in the microwave for a little bit if you want. And that's literally it. I'm using coconut sugar because it's unrefined. Now we're gonna do the wet ingredients. But basically, lots of experimenting. Already had a huge love for baking, still do, but trying to experiment more on the cooking side and making real homemade meals. I grew up with a lot of fast food and a lot of Puerto Rican food, which is still one of my favorite cuisines to this day. It's not easy always food to make, lots of ingredients, usually very time-consuming recipes. So really trying to broaden my horizons here is what I was doing. By the way, I hope this isn't controversial that my bananas are like black. I know some people are so grossed out, but like, I mean, it's perfect for banana muffins or banana bread. So I'm just gonna squeeze that, and I'm just gonna slightly mush it because I want it to be chunky, not too liquidy. And that's really how I got here. Just, I got more practice and it became more fun, and I was able to push myself more with different kinds of recipes. Put some milk and some vanilla. I always measure with my heart for vanilla. Ooh. Ooh, hopefully it's cooked enough. Hopefully it just dries up. I'll just put it on top of the other. But yum, it smells absolutely amazing. But basically what I'm just trying to say is that with practice made progress for me, and my creativity got higher with recipes the more I did it, because the more I practiced, the more I knew what was out there, and the more I felt like I could push myself and try new things, and the more comfortable I felt posting recipes on my Instagram page for you guys. And I love always seeing your feedback and seeing when you try the recipe and you love the recipe. So yeah, it's just something that I felt really passionate about. And even though my page has always been mostly about fitness, food is always something that I really, really love, especially going out to eat, but also cooking as well. But with that, as some of you guys know, I started a full-time job in person recently, and I worked at home for a little over 3 years, and then I had one in-person job before that for a little bit, and then I was working home again before that because of COVID. So there's been a lot of changes in my life, and I was super blessed to be able to work from home. And I knew that it was a huge privilege for me because it was much more time to be creative with recipes and to post them for you guys to hopefully help you guys from home make these recipes. And now that I'm back to the in-person job, I can't lie, it's been a challenge to keep up with my healthy eating and to have the motivation to eat home-cooked meals. I'm not even talking about meal prepping. I'm just talking about eating home-cooked meals in general because the time is so limited. So what I've really been working on, and a skill I've been honing in on, is how can I set myself up for success during the week without putting that pressure of needing to meal prep all of my meals throughout the whole week. Because when I used to do that, it was basically a whole day of work. Yeah, I felt great for the week, but I was eating the same things because you can only meal prep so many different meals throughout the week, and it literally took my entire Sunday away. And I just don't want to do that anymore because I only have 2 days off, and I want to make, okay, I'm just gonna scoop enough to fill about 2/3 in here, and then I'm just gonna pop them in the oven for about 18 minutes, and I'll post this recipe in the description as well for you guys in case you want to make at home. Okay, I thought I was recording that whole time and I wasn't, my apologies, but I'm on the next recipe and I'm just trying to stay on the roll here because we're still less than 2 hours in this prep and I feel like we've gotten so much done. I just want to have one snack prepped, and I found this really good like Asian cucumber salad that I've really been wanting to try. And it's basically just a blend of rice vinegar, soy sauce, minced garlic, some honey, sesame oil, and crushed red pepper. And I'll put the recipe down below, but I'll try it with you. We'll see if it's good. It says it's best to marinate. But one thing that I just shared with you is one of the top things that made a difference for me is meal planning. Not meal prepping, meal planning. It's literally sitting down once a week just for a few minutes with Tim and see what do we have in the pantry and what meals do we want to have for this week. And then the next day, so usually I plan on Friday and I'll grocery shop on Saturday is the way that we usually played it. There's not a wrong way to do it. That's just what works for us. And the key to meal planning is you have to be flexible and you have to be realistic. If I meal planned 7 new dinners on Pinterest that I've never tried before, that would be super unrealistic for me because I would get overwhelmed. It would probably be a lot of work and take a lot of time. So usually what I do is I stick with mostly some of my staples I've accumulated or really simple recipes like chicken, sweet potato, and a veggie or something like that. And then I'll do 1, maybe 2 new recipes just to continue to add some variety. And it makes it a little fun, but it's not overwhelming because I know the rest of the week will be things I already know how to. It calls for 8 snacking cucumbers, but let's start with 5 because I feel like that's not a lot of dressing and it's a lot of cucumbers. But these are so cute. I've never had snacking cucumbers. I want to try them. Really crunchy. Oh wait, that's a good, okay. Let's see. So the only thing is it says to like let it marinate, but it's not gonna fill up the whole thing. So maybe I'll just have to like shake it up every now and then to make sure all of it's getting hit. Marinated in here. This shaken up here, I just wanted to share the second thing that has been helpful for me, and this might be a personal preference, but for me, it's taking my time, which is Sunday, for me to to ingredient prep and maybe just a few lunches and breakfasts. And even though I plan my dinners, I don't really worry about prepping them because me personally, I just love like a fresh made dinner. And yes, I do love leftovers, but I don't want what I make today to eat Thursday or Friday. So I've found that just picking a few dinners and then making it on Monday to have Monday and Tuesday, and then making one on Wednesday to have Wednesday and Thursday, and so on has been really helpful for me. And I find that lunch is the hardest meal. So taking a few minutes and prepping a couple of lunches ahead of time and a couple snacks so that I eat healthy during the day at work, for me has made the biggest difference, because otherwise it's really easy for me to grab those convenient foods or bars, and also just having even one thing in batch for lunch or breakfast, like the chicken salad or the banana muffins or granola to throw on my yogurt. So that's something that I've really found helpful, making things in batch and then prepping just a few things for some variety, and to save you some time during the week, a lot of time, but not taking your entire day of prepping, if that makes sense. But this looks pretty good. I can't wait to try it. I'll have to give you an update. I feel like I don't know if I should try it now because it says to let it marinate, but I feel like I have to try one for you. I mean, that's pretty good. Also, I made these yesterday, but they're just sitting on a plate, so I feel like I have to put it in a little container. They're my little Almond Joy almonds. And it looks like the bananas are done. Let's show you. Wow, these smell so good. They look lovely. I'm gonna put them out to cool. And then I'm just gonna pop my last little Almond Joys. Yum! If you love Almond Joys, you got to try these. They're so good. Also, I got these little jars from Costco literally just a week ago. I've used them 1,000 times. They're the best thing ever. Look how perfect that fits. I love it. Banana muffins are out, looking absolutely divine. Sorry about Oakley. My last tip is really just ingredient prep. What is ingredient prep? It's instead of doing the entire meal, you're just prepping the ingredients for it. So if I were to make, you know, a homemade tomato sauce, well, maybe I'll just chop the tomatoes. I'm making tacos tomorrow because it's Taco Tuesday, but I'm not gonna prep the tacos, but I am going to chop the onions so that tomorrow it will just make it one step easier for us. Plus we just do the basic taco, like onion and cilantro. I did buy some mango pico de gallo, which I think will be delish. I do like to usually prep like a fruit for the week. I try to get like a different fruit every week, but it's blueberries this week, which we always have, which doesn't really need preparing, and plums, which also doesn't really need preparing because we just throw them in the bag and go. And the very last thing today, which is tonight's dinner, which is chicken and orzo with lemon soup. This is the Progresso one, and it has 14 grams of protein per can. Now listen, I know you're thinking like, what the heck, she's posting recipes and prep and it's from a can? You know what, yes it is, because if you're watching this and you're someone like me who's a busy girl on the go, know that it is okay to take the convenient option sometimes. It is not about being perfect, it is about being consistent with healthy eating. And this is not something I eat every single day. This is also not bad for you. It actually has a great source of protein and carbs in here as well. I'm doing 3 cans because my mom's and Tim is coming home tonight and I want to make sure there's enough for everyone. There might even be a little left over for someone to bring for lunch, which would be great as well. I also was gonna make this from home, but when I saw it at Target and knew I was gonna do other meal ingredient prep, I was like, what the heck? I'm just gonna buy the can and dress it up at home. So I'm putting 3 cans in a pot, and then this is a really juicy lemon. I'm just going to slice it in half and juice it just to give it some fresh lemon flavor. To me, citrus makes everything better, to be honest. And then yes, you can make fresh chicken, but once again, I'm low on time. I'm trying to do something quick and healthy. This is just some pre-made, pre-cooked chicken. These are slippery today. And I want to make sure this packs a powerful punch of protein. I think we can do better than 14 grams for the whole can, so I'm just going to add a good amount of this in the soup so when it all heats up, just get an extra punch of protein. And then I did buy some sourdough in case they want a little buttered pan-seared slice of sourdough to go with it. Super delish. I don't know if this is the safest way to be doing this, but just don't judge me, okay? Let's see, I think that might be enough. Whoa. Maybe I'll just like leave a little left over in case someone wants it for something else. Let's give it a big stir. And I'm just doing this now because I do still have work I have to do right after this, so I'm just gonna put it on the stove and I'll heat it up a little closer to when they get here in like another hour and a half or so. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but it honestly looks really good. The macros are not bad at all. For a whole can, it's 1 gram of fat, 30 carbs, and 14 grams of protein. Carbs are good for you. They're a main energy source. I love a good orzo pasta, and I've completely popped up the protein here, so it's definitely more than 14 grams per can, and then added some fresh lemon, which I can literally smell. So this is what I have. I'm gonna go back and show you everything that you just made with me today so we can really see how much we did. And again, less than 2 hours. It is 4:20 and I believe I started like almost exactly at 2:30. All right, I'm back with everything that we just prepped together. Got my chicken orzo soup for tonight. I forgot to tell you that I did cook up some hard-boiled eggs while we were talking and chatting. I just put my dates in here since I did do that yesterday. Banana oat muffins. The chia pudding is set with some sliced mangoes, ready for some coconut yogurt and sesame seeds. Got my homemade granola, 3 lunches of chicken salad, a good old cucumber salad, and some onion ready for some tacos tomorrow. Last thing that I didn't show on camera, but I do have our 3 frozen lunches. I'm actually a huge fan of incorporating them once in a while when I know it's going to be a busy week for lunch, so that's another thing I'm going to have. I really hope that today's video was helpful for you and gave you some inspiration and a little bit of an insight of where I am right now in my health and nutrition journey versus where I came from. I really feel like I've made so much progress over the years and so much happier with how I'm eating and what I'm putting into my body, and I hope that I'm able to inspire you a little bit and make you a little bit excited about the variety you can get in nutritious foods. And with that, have a great rest of your day and I will see you in the next video.